Hi, welcome back. This is the Bit-Mage. Welcome all the new subs. I think we have grown quite a lot since the last video. So this time, uh, I'm addressing a pretty common problem that Emacs has, is the problem of it being slow. That's mostly because it's built upon eLisp. eLisp is the Lisp dialect in which Emacs is written, and it is interpreted. So that is usually the cause of being like Emacs being slow. The solution to that is using something called as native compiled Emacs. So your eLisp is compiled into bytecode, machine code, and that kind of speeds it up a lot. So it's going to be a very practical one today. We're going to like actually build Emacs from source, uh, going through all the caveats and all the intricacies of the process. So let's get going. Why you should bother? Speed. That is more than enough. If it speeds up your workflows, you should do it. And what exactly are we getting into? Well, the native compiled Emacs is it's termed as GCC Emacs. So that's what the that's what it's called, GCC Emacs. But in the feature branch and like the functions that are available, they would be exposed as a native comp and suffixes after that. So again, native compilation is the process of converting eLisp into machine code. There's two usual ways to do it. First of all, you could just actually fetch it from your package repositories. When I was using Fedora quite a while back. Oh, by the way, I'm on OpenSuse Tumbleweed right now. Because yeah, I did mess up my Fedora. I I will make a video about that soon. I guess I messed up it in a very stupid way, but yeah. So yeah, you could like fetch an older version of GCC Emacs. I was using Emacs 29. Uh, yeah, from the repositories itself. But then today we're gonna build it from source. Yeah, and I'm trying to be trying to make a very agnostic video in terms of distros. So you'll have to like customize your approach a little based on what you are on. What I have done personally, we'll get into it, is yeah, I've built Emacs previously in say quite a while ago. I was using WSL with Ubuntu. So those days it was Bash on Ubuntu. I think that was 2020, 2021. GCC Emacs was like fairly new. I'd built Emacs on that as well. Then I've done it on Debian. I use the prepackaged repository on Fedora. Right now, this is GCC Emacs on OpenSuse Tumbleweed. I haven't done it on any of the BSDs, but then it should be the same. And if you like want to build it for Windows, I'm not sure exactly what the process is. Then probably Google a little, and you should find what you need. The process stays the same. The approach stays the same. But before that, while I'm sort of building anything, I usually prefer logging whatever I'm doing, whatever packages you're installing, whatever processes you're following and why you're following them, because it can get pretty long, pretty lengthy. So for that, I usually do it in tmux plus one. So let's pull it out. You should see. Let's create a new tmux window. Here we are. I will work in a buffer directory. I already have a directory here. Yeah, this is empty. Let's say so it's empty. This is a working space. Let's also create a B-top window so that we can keep an eye on our CPU usage over time when I'm like in the process of building. Right now it's being used. OBS is kind of doing a lot, so let's ignore that for a while. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So when we're building stuff, or when I'm like usually doing a lengthy process, I like to pull out a tmux and vim to log the whole process. So I do have my log notes when I actually built it for my own usage out here. By the way, here's the OpenSUSE Tumbleweed config. Yeah, I'm on KD6, KD Plasma 6, yeah. And yeah, I'm using x86 CPU. So that's the architecture. But for now, what matters is when you're building Emacs, you first get the prerequisites. It's just going to be GCC and some devils. So right now my GCC version is 14.2. You can see that in the left. You have that, a couple of devils. So in the if you're on a Debian based distro, these will be called devs. So libgcc dev or libgc jet dev. But then if you're on an RPM based distro, they're called devils. So libgcc devil or libgcc jet devil. I have a lot of them installed right now. So the ones that I particularly installed were, let's see, lib johnson devil, jet gcc jet 0 devil. Yeah, and a couple more devils. Some more random devils that you might need if you like customizing the whole build process are out here. But then let's ignore those for now. We're going to go for a vanilla build. First of all, you would like to, let's go into the buffer directory again, gcc emacs lsa, to show that there's nothing out there. Okay, so once you have the devils installed, they might also be easily fetchable by build essentials and a couple of distros. So probably if you're on Debian or Ubuntu, apt install build essentials should get you everything you need, I feel like. You might need to check your GCC version and get specific things for that. And there's some more pointers that I have that I'll be discussing about in the bonus section. For now, let's proceed. So with that out of the way, you first need to fetch the source for Emacs to build it from source, of course. You don't want to be building you don't want to clone the whole directory. You want to get only the particular branch without the Git history so that you're not wasting your time. And how you do, okay, and by the way, there's two mirrors out there. So one is the Emacs mirror by Savannah. So that's the, okay, there's the, one is a Emacs hosted by Savannah. So that's the original. But then I recommend you use the GitHub mirror. That's much faster in my experience. And the latter one's like too slow. So I'll recommend you use the GitHub mirror. I'm just gonna copy that. And what you can do first is hit an ls remote to see what all branches you can fetch. I'm piping that through less. All these things are up there. What you will be interested in the refs heads Emacs. You don't want a feature branch, you don't want any other branch, you want a particular Emacs version. So we're gonna go for Emacs 30 and you're gonna clone it to depth 1. So get clone depth 1 branch. I'm going for Emacs 30 and now let me get the URL dot get. So that's gonna start cloning. Let's go back, and until that happens, okay, that's actually happening pretty quickly. We should get going soon. Once you fetch the directory, what you want to do first is enter into it and generate the configuration scripts. So autogen.sh should do it. That's going to configure the whole thing for you. Once that's done, now comes the important part in all of the build process. That's configuring your build. The minimal that you want to do is have the native compilation enabled. But then you would also want to customize it for what you're particularly doing. For example, right now I'm on KDE 6 with Zorg, so X11. I would not want to build it for Wayland. When I was using Fedora, I was using Wayland. So that's when I built it for Wayland. Or I think you could use the PGTK flag. But right now, going the vanilla way without any other details, you can first this is what we're gonna need. This particular command is what we're gonna need for just building it with native compilation. That particular flag with native comp or compilation. And cc gcc 14, that's the environment variable that's needed for make underneath. So based on your GCC version, again GCCV, at the bottom left you see I'm using GCC 14.2. You'll have to use that particular GCC version. And even before you try and configure anything, check out configure help and read this up. We'll pipe it through less and actually read it up. So yeah, this is going to give you all the feature flags that are available. I use a couple of them. I do enlist out what I use in the bonus section. So I do want some X features, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of other things: JSON support, mail utils, Yeah, all different kinds of things. Even if you want to like disable particular features that are enabled by default, you could also do that. But for now, we're not gonna focus on that. We're just gonna focus on speeding the whole thing up. So once you have that, what you can do is configure. Again, you need the CC configure with native compilation. Very good, it starts. So while that's happening, this is going to check if all the dependencies and everything's present based on what flags you pass to it. So if you pass a particular flag and the dependencies are not present, this is where you get the warnings and you can like reiterate in terms of your installations. So it's going to be a iteration between building your fetching your prerequisites and running this configure script to see what's missing. Uh, for now, once this configure finishes, what we're gonna do is run make. It's just gonna be make jprocs. Okay, it's done. Yeah, it's done. So right now, uh, with make, you're gonna actually build the Emacs binary, the one that you're gonna actually use to run Emacs. And the next step after that is make install. Make install just shifts those binaries into uh, onto your path where you can easily find it. But then I'm not going to do that because I already have an Emacs installed according to my custom config. I don't want to install an only native comp GCC Emacs uh, into my yeah path. So I'm just gonna run make install and no, I'm just gonna run make, not even install. Make is gonna build it. Yeah, install is gonna just move the libraries. And I want it to be I want it to be parallelized. This is what you want to be parallelized. The build process is compute bound. The install process, the make install is going to be IO bound because it's moving files here and there on your disk on a yeah, persistent device, so, persistent storage device. So that's an important difference. You will also not need elevated privileges here. You do not need to use sudo or do as here. So take care of that. Even if you provide it, there's not going to be errors, but then it's a good practice not to use it when you don't need it. So yeah, I have 16 vCPUs and OBS is kind of taking quite a lot right now, so I'm just going to use 12. Uh, make J12. Yeah, that should actually start building everything. And while that's happening, we can actually observe, yeah, my CPU is being used there out there in BTOP. So you do see that all the reds. Hmm. Yeah, so you could see when it is in its compute phase and when it is in IO bound phase. When it's in its when it is in its IO bound phase, you should see the red limited to a couple of processors. So I observed this for quite a couple of builds before even making this video, and yeah, it's a pretty interesting exercise into understanding what make does underneath based on like what scripts you hand to it in a particular stage. So while that's happening, let's put it to the side while that's happening. After this, you're gonna run make install. Okay, I think, okay, so there you see my make is still active. My make is still active, but the processors are not working right now. So it's in an IO bound phase right now. It's not building anymore. It should go red pretty quickly soon, so we'll wait for that. You could also see the 0 tag on my tmux window, so that should give some idea as to what's happening. Okay, it's red again, so there it goes. It's just into building phase again. Ah, yeah. So with while that's happening, once that's done, I think the make should turn into a bash on my 0 tag. So that's why I kind of prefer using tmux because I can just switch around and log everything and have them open. So okay, usually I would have something down here. I would open up vim and notes.md. Here I would chalk in whatever I'm installing, whatever uh, decisions I'm making in terms of the configure, what I want to do. I would document it here and like push it on the blog later on. But then I already have that, so let's quit. I do have my old notes somewhere here. Yeah, I showed them to you, right? Notes. Yeah, these are my old notes. So Yeah, what I did differently was because I'm running on KDE with Zorg. I am yeah doing a couple more things. So for that, I'll recommend you do check out the configure help and customize for what you actually need. And as for fetching dependencies, I am using OpenSuse Tumbleweed. So Zipper. Zipper and the package management of OpenSUSE, it's kind of cool. It has everything. I was also kind of messing around a little, and I wanted to use the WebKit GTK, the WebKit add-on for X WebKit tool. Let's say it's WebKit tools, I think. That particular add-on in the config. And for that, I need a particular specific version. So let's take that detour kind of quickly. Yeah, a particular version of WebKit 2 GTK3, a version being less than 2.41. And OpenSUSE Tumbleweed right now on like the latest build because it's a rolling release yields 2.44 plus. So I had to kind of download. I had to like find out if it is kind of available anywhere in the RPM based repositories out there. I could not find it easily, so I decided to build it from source. And then I installed a bunch of devils that I needed to build it from source after iterations. And then it wasn't happening. It wasn't just happening because yeah, I had installed quite a lot of things, but then yeah, I was still getting the same errors, so I kind of dropped that. One good thing about OpenSUSE is that it uses Btrfs by default, and it has the snapshots enabled by default. So I did not have to manually uninstall any of these, and I just rolled back. So that's one neat thing out there. What I'm saying is customize for your own process, and probably if you're getting into Linux or any Unix-based OS, you will probably build a lot of things soon. So get in the habit of documenting what you're doing. And uh, okay, I mean, we would all love to have a stateless distro. I mean, Nix and Gwix, GUIX, the Guile version do exist. But then Nix, I don't think I would like to use as my daily driver still, like for work purposes. I don't think I'd like Nix to be that yet. Good for servers and everything, but then as a daily driver, I don't know. I'll try it out later. I'll try it out in a while. So my OS is not stateless, but then yeah, your path into installing everything is going to be different. You'll have to iterate here and there, tweak your tweak your process a little to get the dependencies installed. Let's check BTOP for where are we on the build process? Okay, that's quite a lot of processing going on right now. Hmm. Okay, it's kind of doing a lot. Anyway, that's the that's usually what you're gonna look at. You could just grab a cup of coffee right now, or yeah, uh, I don't know, just chill around, just watch the bar. I like seeing the red, and I like seeing everything. Yeah, just the CPU being utilized completely. It's kind of a nice it's kind of a nice feeling. So there's that. Uh, don't forget to make notes. Yeah, also make notes. I mean, do check out what you want. There are also some links in the description that will help you with let's say there's this guy from mastering in Emacs. I don't remember his name right now. There's a Reddit thread that I'm going to link that is for specifically for OpenSUSE, and there's also the Emacs wiki that gives you generic thoughts about building Emacs from source. So what we are doing is we fetched the Emacs 30 branch, and yeah, we selected the native compilation flags, and we're just building it from source. So once the make finishes, oh, it's finished. I think the bash is gone. Yeah, my CPUs are all green, so that's nice. That's over. Yeah, entering directory, leaving directory. Yeah, it's done. So that's it. Now you have Emacs. I am not going to run make install because I already have Emacs installed with my custom configurations. Uh, what you can do to verify if Emacs has native comp right now, you just pull up a scratch buffer and type in this native comp available P for predicate. So this function should yield if you have native comp active or not. If okay, if it's not there, this function would not exist. So you could just Yeah, you could just check that as well with the bhf. So if this function turns up, if you're with a okay, if you do a search for functions like b space hf, that's how you do it in Doom. I think it's control hf, control hf, and probably no vanilla emacs. I don't remember the key bindings as of now. Yeah, if this does not show up native comp available p, then you don't have native comp active. And like once you execute it, I've bound it to space ex. If it yields true, congrats, you got native compiled Emacs or GCC Emacs, as the title says, and that's great. So now it should be much faster. It should be much faster. Uh, Once you're done with that, uh, that's after the make install. By the way, for the make install, you will need elevated privileges because it's actually copying files into your path. Or if you choose a particular prefix that is not out of your home directory, you would not need it. But then you'll have to select the prefix for that accordingly. And once this is done, you verify if native comp is available with this particular function that I showed you. Again, evaluating it again, it's true. So that's nice. So that's that. Emacs is sped up now. Do check it out. Do let me know how fast it actually is. Do you notice any difference? And for further reading, check out this project specifically for, I think, yeah, this is the project log for the project. This is the project log. Yeah. So let's see. It started with, okay, this is 2021, 26th of February. Huh. This was the last log. Let's go to, these are all the updates as to how it is better. GCC Emacs, yeah. Let's go the last word, final word, all of the, okay, the final word, to take that into account, experimental. Yeah, all of this is very experimental. Take it at your risk, at what it is, a proof of concept. Well, I'm going to assure you, I have been using GCC Emacs for 3 years now on different operating systems. It's been, I've first used it on Bash on Ubuntu, WSL, so I used to use an X11 forwarding server as well. I've used it over that. I've used Emacs over that for 2 years. Then I used it on Debian on my home lab. Uh, yeah, then I've also used it on Fedora with the prepackaged repository. That was Emacs 29. Uh, yeah, and then I'm using it in OpenSuse. So let me show you my build version. Let's go to Emacs. Yeah, Emacs. Okay, that's not it. That's not how you see the version. How do you see the Emacs version? This? Yeah. Emacs 30.0.91, and it was built on 2024-092. So just like, yeah, 22nd of September. That's like what? I think it's around a week ago. That's that. Yeah. Now you have souped up GCC Emacs, and it should be much faster. So good luck with that. We're done. Thanks for tuning in. You'll usually not find videos or articles on GCC Emacs. You'll find some articles, but then they might be outdated right now, or they might be very specific to the platform that you're tuning in into. So I'll summarize it for you in a very generic format. You first get the source code for Emacs. Don't get all of it. You don't need to get the get history. Just clone it with the depth one and the particular branch that you want. We went for Emacs 30. Next, what you want to do is generate the scripts, the configuration scripts with autogen, and then actually autogen.sh, and then actually configure everything with with the flags that you want, the feature flags that you want, and or excluding anything that you don't want. So there's a lot of without flags also if you want to build a very lightweight Emacs. So there's that, and do spend some time here. Before that, you will probably have to get some build essentials. In Debian or Ubuntu, you can probably just apt get the build essentials, and you should be fine. Uh, it'll throw errors here and there, and if you Google a couple of times in terms of what provides what, or just use your particular package repository, to see what provides what. You should be able to get all the dependencies fetched pretty quickly. Once that's done, run make, yeah, run make, and use all your CPUs. So once that's done, it took me like what? We did it live, right? Probably did not take us more than 5 minutes, I believe. And once that is done, make install should be pretty quick because yeah, that's not the intensive. That is not the compute intensive pipe part of the whole job. That's already done with make. So make install is just going to like move the directories and everything. So move the bid into your path so that it's usable. Well, okay. So once that is done, open up your Emacs and check if native comp is actually available. And then enjoy native comp Emacs or GCC Emacs as we like to call it. And once that is done, you're good. You're good to go. You actually built Emacs from source. Congrats on that. I remember the feeling when I first built it from source when I was around like what 20. Yeah, I was like 20. I did it on my Ubuntu WS2 and like okay, so imagine the speed up. I was like using it on, okay, I was running WSL2. So it was a type 1 hypervisor with Hyper-V. So that's Hyper-V running WSL. And yeah, the speed up that I got is, yeah, actually kind of great. So do let me know in the comments. And if you have any suggestions or any help you need out there, do let me know in the comments. Anything you want to be cleared, anything that you want to be cleared upon, anything that you want to be clarified. That sounds like it. So yeah, enjoy your roided Emacs. This was the Bit-Mage, and I think I actually covered the bonus section intermittently in the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. By the way, when I wanted to use the WebKit flag, this is what I installed, and I could just roll back very easily because I've Tumbleweed, and Btrfs snapshots enabled by default. This is my particular uh, yeah, this is my particular configure. So what am I using? Native compilation, mail utils, X toolkit GTK3 X flag with X, and the compiler flag being microarchitecture native, so x86 or AMD 64. Yeah, I think it's going to be AMD 64. Hmm. Yeah, maybe we'll have a video on that soon. Yeah, microarchitectures. I'm getting into systems programming for some time. We'll have a video about that soon sometime. Uh, oh yeah, by the way, I'm on Tumbleweed right now. So if you did not notice, this is OpenSuse Tumbleweed. Yeah, I think I pointed this out, right? I am not on Fedora anymore. I'm not on Sway, so I'm using Conquerite. I think that's the window manager for KDE. It's recent. I mean I had to configure a lot of shortcuts by myself to actually make it feel like a tiling window manager, but then it's decent, so no big issues there. It's nice to have a polished GUI over everything. Uh, by polished, I mean, okay, I don't use the GUI, but then I just mean it's kind of nice to have everything documented and pretty easily configurable. I mean, I've had the experience of what playing around with Sui on a VLAN and setting up everything out there. So yeah, so like I say, I mean, even before using Doom Emacs, you should use vanilla Emacs for a vibe. And it's pretty much the same. So I'm on KDE now. Uh, a lot of folks will probably be disappointed, I guess. Not on a native window manager, a tiling window manager, just a tiling window manager. But yeah, that's life. Mm. That's it for today. If you're new out here, I am the Bit-Mage. Do check out any other videos that I have on Emacs. I make a lot of other videos as well about Vim, Tmax, or any other Unix utilities. I mostly go for tech, esoteric tools, and yeah, just some random insights. It's not it's more of a ramble. It's more of a techno ramble, I'll say, more techno walkthroughs. If you like this kind of content, do like, share, subscribe. And do let me know in the comments what do you think about it. Did GCC Emacs actually help you? Did you actually install this? Like, I mean, this is a good call to action right now. Go ahead and install GCC Emacs. If you're using Emacs and you haven't tried GCC Emacs, this is your sign to try it. If you don't right now, you're missing out on a lot. I'm going to end it on that note. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.